MACC detains another individual over alleged embezzlement of funds. Government agency staff to manage a Rohingya field hospital. A very good evening and welcome. I'm Adrian Seed. You're watching the evening edition of News on 2. Now, another brother of a former federal minister is in remand for 4 days from today for investigation into the alleged embezzlement of funds involving 180 million ringgit for rural projects in Sabah. Magistrate Stephanie Sharon Abi of the Kota Kinabalu Magistrates Court issued the order against the 57-year-old man who has a Datuk title following an application by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission or MACC. The man was arrested by MACC when he went to the Sabah MACC office to give his statement on the matter. He was amongst 9 people arrested so far in connection with the misappropriation of funds for rural projects amounting to 180 million ringgit, which was part of the 1.5 billion ringgit allegedly embezzled from the ministry. The 1.5 billion ringgit was part of the federal government's allocations for the ministry, totaling 7.5 billion ringgit to implement rural projects in Sabah from 2009 to 2015. The Bugis community in Malaysia today demanded that former Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad apologise and retract his statement, which allegedly described the Bugis people as pirates. Now, the call was made by Persatuan Perpaduan Rumpun Bugis Melayu Malaysia, an association representing the Bugis community. A large crowd from the association held a peaceful gathering in front of the Perdana Leadership Foundation building in Putrajaya to protest the statement. The association's deputy chairman, Tasman Mato, said police reports will be lodged throughout the country if Tun Dr. Mahathir refuses to withdraw his statement and apologise for hurting the feelings of the Bugis community, which has long been part of the Malaysian society.
Ataupun ucapan-ucapan di mana-mana pemimpin ini dalam arena politik beliau. Sepatutnya suku kaum ini jangan dibabitkan di dalam arena politik. Kita satu Malaysia, hidup Malaysia.
He said this to reporters after the half-hour-long gathering. The peaceful gathering was held following Tun Dr. Mahathir's speech during a Pakatan Harapan rally in Petaling Jaya on Saturday, where he allegedly said that Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak is a descendant of Bugis pirates and should go back to the Bugis community in Indonesia. The Islamic Religious Office in Langkawi has been instructed to investigate the existence of a new Deviation As Teaching group on Pulau Tuba, where a video of the movement is currently viral on social media. Kedah Islamic Religious Affairs Department Director Dato' Abdul Rahman Ismail advised Muslims not to be deceived by the movement and to lodge a report should they come across quarters disseminating teachings that deviated from the true teachings of Islam. Dato' Abdul Rahman also advised imams to play their role to avoid members of their congregation from being lured by the deviationist teachings. The video of the movement on Pulau Tuba showed a man believed to be the leader giving a talk on Islam, which deviated from its true teachings, and pictures of a horse and hut where the movement carried out its activities. Malaysia will send about 60 personnel from various agencies to manage the field hospitals set up for Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh. Health Minister Datuk Sri Dr. S. Subramaniam said the team members, including doctors and nurses, are prepared to be sent there in a moment's notice. Datuk Sri Dr. Subramaniam said the duration of their stay will depend on how long their services are needed.
Tengoklah berapa lama mereka diperlukan. Kalau diperlukan lama, mungkin kita boleh hantar secara giliran.
He said this when met at the MIC's Deepavali Open House at the Batu Caves complex. He added the Malaysian government will leave it to Bangladesh authorities on the proposed location of the field hospital. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, in his visit at the Cox's Bazar Rohingya refugee camp in Bangladesh, announced that Malaysia plans to build a field hospital over there costing 3.5 million ringgit. The Terengganu Health Department, JKNT, has issued a directive to all health premises in the state to discuss with the respective district councils to cut down tall trees considered risky to the public. Now, the directive was issued in light of an accident on October the 8th, where a student and the driver of a school van were crushed to death in a freak accident when a tree fell on their vehicle along Jalan Batu Rakit, Kuala Nerus. State Health Director Dr. Muhammad Omar said his department had directed all health clinics, rural clinics and health officers in each district to meet with district council representatives in their respective areas to identify and monitor trees that need to be cut down.
Saya telah mengarahkan semua premis-premis kesihatan, klinik desa ataupun pejabat kesihatan yang mana ada pokok yang macam itu, maka berbincanglah dengan majlis daerah untuk tering atau tebang. Jadi ini dah arahan telah dikeluarkan, bukan di HNZ saja. Tapi HNZ ni kita kerap sangat kita terima komplain daripada orang ramai.
Speaking to reporters today, he said most complaints with regards to tall trees considered risky to the public were near the Sultanah Nur Zahira Hospital and the Pusat Rawatan Ibu dan Bayi in Kuala Terengganu, most of them in the parking areas. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Najib Tun Razak joined MIC President Datuk Sri Dr. S. Subramaniam and several other Barisan National Component Party leaders in celebrating the MIC Deepavali Open House celebration in Batu Caves today. Among those who attended the event were MCA President Datuk Sri Liao Tiong Lai, Gerakan President Datuk Sri Ma Siu Kiong and UMNO Secretary General Tengku Anan Tengku Manso. Datuk Sri Najib, who arrived at about 10:45 a.m., was greeted by Datuk Sri Dr. S. Subramaniam and other party leaders. Various cultural performances were held to live in the celebration. At least 10,000 people attended the open house celebration, including tourists from various countries. Sri Najib, together with his wife Datin Sri Rosma Manso and Federal Territories Minister Datuk Sri Tengku Anan Tengku Manso, attended the open house organised by MyPPP at Little India in Brickfields. Their arrival was greeted by MyPPP President Tan Sri M. Kavias. Datuk Sri Najib was then taken to a stage and garlanded with flowers before cutting a cake and then joined the crowd to a feast, which included a banana leaf rice and putu mayam. About 5,000 people, including tourists, attended the open house, which served various delicacies synonymous with the Indian community, such as vade, papadam, payasam, and rasam. Bali's departure won't affect Malaysia Airlines recovery. Full story to come. You're watching News on 2. Let's take a look at the latest weekly fuel price, effective midnight. Now, the sudden resignation of Peter Bellew from Malaysia Airlines Berhad will not affect the company's road to recovery. Transport Minister Datuk Sri Liao Tiong Lai said that efforts to put Malaysia Airlines back to profitability will go ahead despite Bellew's resignation.
That the mass transformation will continue, irrespective of who will be the CEO or COO. Mass transformation is on the agenda, and we are doing all right. Mass is doing okay.
The decision will not affect MAS.
It won't affect MAS, but we would like to find out the reason why he left.
He said this when met at the Deepavali Open House at the Malaysian Associated Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. On Bellew's replacement, Datuk Sri Liao said it was up to Khazanah Nasional Berhad, the airline's largest shareholder, to decide. Bellew was appointed a Chief Executive Officer in July the 1st of last year, taking over from Christoph Mueller. He was brought in by Mueller as Chief Operations Officer on September the 1st of 2015. Bellew issued a statement saying that he was leaving Malaysia Airlines and would rejoin his former employer, Ryanair Holdings PLC, as Chief Operations Officer. He's expected to start work with the Irish low-cost carrier this December the 1st. Meanwhile, outgoing Malaysia Airlines Berhad Group Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer Peter Bellew said today his sudden resignation from the company was not due to any interference from any third party. He stressed that his decision to leave the airline for Ryanair was due to a sense of responsibility to his native country.
We have underutilised facilities.
His departure after just over a year in charge means Malaysia's national carrier must appoint a third chief executive in 3 years. Now, the airline is still trying to recover from 2 tragedies in 2014 when flight MH370 disappeared in mysterious circumstances and flight MH17 was shot down over eastern Ukraine. In a statement released today, Bellew said his return to Ryanair was due to love for the country and that he would not turn down a request to help the struggling airline. Malaysia Airlines said Bellew's decision to leave for Ryanair was unexpected and that its board would meet to discuss the move. Malaysia Airports Berhad Holding Managing Director Dato' Badli Sham Ghazali has been appointed to the Airport Council's International's AIC World Governing Body. The announcement was made at the World Governing Board meeting held on October the 14th, 2017 in Port Louis in Mauritius. Dato' Badli Sham in a statement said he considered the appointment as a privilege and honour to represent Malaysia and the Asia-Pacific region in the world body. He added that Malaysia still has a lot to learn from the global airport community. Dato' Badli Sham was previously the ACI Director for Asia-Pacific region since last year. ACI is the only global airport organization that provides a platform for member organizations to address as well as advance the collective interests of about 2,000 airports worldwide. Foreign Minister Dato' Sri Anifah Aman will lead Malaysia's delegation from the ministry to the 17th session of the D8 Organisation for Economic Cooperation or D8 Council of Ministers in Istanbul tomorrow. Wisma Putra in a statement today said the ministerial meeting would be preceded by the 39th session of the D8 Commission and followed with the 9th D8 Summit. Now, the meeting will discuss and review the progress and achievements of the 2 decades of partnership in 6 areas, namely trade, industrial cooperation and small and medium enterprises, agriculture and food security, transportation, energy and minerals and tourism. The Council of Ministers would also consider and finalize 2 outcome documents, namely the Istanbul Declaration and D8 Istanbul Plan of Action for adoption of the 9th D8 Summit. Dato' Sri Anifah is scheduled to deliver a statement at the meeting on October the 19th and hold bilateral meetings with his counterparts to discuss issues of mutual interest. Established on June the 15th of 1997, the D8 organization is an organization for development cooperation which comprises Bangladesh, Egypt, Indonesia, Iran, Nigeria, Pakistan, Turkey and Malaysia. Philippine authorities arrest militant leader's widow. That concludes this evening's edition of News on 2. In our top story, MACC detains another individual over alleged embezzlement of funds. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon for more updates. Until 10, I'm Adrian Seed. Once again, on behalf of the English News team, wishing all our Hindu viewers happy Deepavali. Have a pleasant evening. Thanks for watching. Good night.